Jesus Christ, you people suck. Wow. Wolverine on it.
Back in the days when we played video games, it was hardcore for the nerdy and lazy. Now things have changed and all our video games are also for the casual and lady.
But that's okay, you know the score. We told you a million times before. Playing consoles, not just games, is in the past. And every week you listen to the best damn internet radio crew. It's the N4G podcast. It's the N4G podcast.
Alright, it's time. Another week of N4G Radio. Episode 618 for September 7th, 2020. It's a holiday, y'all. 3-day weekend. Except for Drew. Drew got to work all the time.
I work all the time.
On the show this week, we have Drew.
Yes, I'm here.
We have Anthony.
Hello.
We got the Wombat, too.
Yep.
And it is September 7th. Every time for the last couple weeks when we mentioned that we still don't have prices for next-gen consoles, I got a milestone for this week. So I was reminded of a tweet from a Mr. Major Nelson, who tweeted on September 4th of 2013 that the first pallet of Xbox Ones had been loaded onto the truck for launch November 22nd. We still don't have a goddamn price.
These consoles are not coming out this year.
Have a goddamn price.
I mean,
They're not
COVID
coming out this year, guys.
COVID done fucked up. They're coming out. We've talked about this so many times, but they're coming out because ain't one of them going to slip. And if one of them slips, the other one wins, and this thing will happen. They'll put these fuckers out with 0 games. They don't care because they all know y'all.
They'll Sega Saturn this shit.
Yeah, and they don't care because they know you'll buy it. These consoles will sell out this year.
I think the best thing I saw so far was somebody saying you just pick it up and then they'll bill you for it later, however much they think it should cost.
Yeah, I'll get a bill for it in 2021. I'd totally do that. Pick it up, charge me later. Anyway, yeah.
If you can't pay, they just harvest your organs while you're sleeping.
I don't care. That's fine. I don't need them.
Well, it depends on the organ, really.
That's true, I guess. But I'm also older, so I'd probably be one of the last ones on the list because my organs wouldn't be as sought after as, like, a fresh, young, ripe 20-year-old.
That's true.
I'm going to start smoking and ruin all of them.
Doing shots of vodka every 30 seconds. Smoking a pack of Camels. No filters. All right, well, let's talk video games. Drew, let's start with you. I know you've got a biggin.
Yeah. So Marvel's Avengers. I know, Ken, you're playing it as well.
I am.
And what do you think about it?
There's a whole lot of Destiny in that game.
That game is Destiny made over.
You even got the mission, like traveling to location.
Yep.
You can put on your gear, you can invite people, and it's got the little awkward animation of the up close character. I like the game, but it is an exhausting game to play.
Yes.
There is just so much shit happening in every single level, from crafting materials to, I don't know about you, but I get gear nonstop, and 80% of it is useless, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves in a loot game, is when you give me 80% shit that I don't want.
Borderlands 2.
Yeah, that's the best comparison you can make. It is Destiny.
Yeah.
It is Destiny in a third-person view, melee-focused game. It's not completely melee.
No, some of the characters like Iron Man are very much like a shooter. And it's not even a great shooter.
No. It's I don't know how I feel about this game. I think it's decent. I'll tell you this. I think it looks good.
Yes.
I think the story and the acting is fantastic.
I really like MODOK.
Yeah, he's great. Tony Stark is great. He acts like Tony Stark. I think the guy who is playing Bruce Banner totally modeled himself after the movies.
It's Troy Baker.
Is it Troy Baker?
It's Troy Baker as Bruce Banner and Nolan North as Tony Stark.
Oh, that makes sense then.
Then they have a better choice than Iron Man VR, because the biggest issue was the voice actor in that was clearly trying to be Robert Downey Jr. and he trying to sound like that rather than trying to like get the same sort of tone. Does that make sense? Like the characterization wasn't enough like the movies. It was just he was trying to do the voice of the it was off.
I like Kamala Khan. I think she's fun.
Yeah, they do try to throw in a lot of humor from the movies. It's overwhelming. I think that's the biggest thing for me is that Destiny eased you into everything. Avengers says, "You've played Destiny before, right? Go." And it just leaves you to it, you know? And I mean, it's just like there's tons of different resources, which we should explain. The resources are used to upgrade your gear. So most of the gear in this game can be what they quote boosted to give extra power on top of unlock new perks in the gear. The gear is also like color based, you know, common, uncommon, you know, rare, legendary, whatever. And it's one of those, like, I get the feeling, just get a piece of gear that has a higher number. And then once you start getting everything is legendary, that's when you start actually worrying about building your character.
Yeah, like all this shit early on feels completely useless. We should also mention that the gear is like Borderlands, so if it's branded, it usually can unlock a perk.
Yeah. So you have like 4 different brands. You got Avengers, you've got PIM, you've got Gamma, and there's one other, but I can't remember what it is.
I haven't even bothered to look at it because the first thing that I notice is when you boot the game up and it's like hit the back button on Xbox, the back button to bring up the menu. There's like 30 tabs and each tab has like 12 columns, and it's just it's exhausting to open that menu.
Yeah. And I feel like it wears its RPG elements on its sleeve when this game is really a button masher.
Yeah.
The only reason why any of these the only part of the RPG that you need to actually pay attention to is whatever makes sure you don't die fast. because you know, you can go up to an enemy and punch the crap out of them until they die. But your defense is really what matters, because I've ran into missions where, like, you know, you take about 4 hits and you're dead, which obviously my defense is not high enough to deal with this. They say, oh, you have a character, and each time you level up with this character, you get a skill point, which then you put into these skills. Like now you can hold down the X button to do an uppercut that sends somebody in the air, or different types of little passive abilities and stuff like that. On top of that, you also have a power level, which is how strong your gear is. And like in Destiny, like I said with Destiny, because that's the best comparison, you have the light level. In Destiny 1, you didn't worry about your light level until the end game. In this game, you need to worry about light level or power level right away.
Yep, every mission has a power level.
Yes, and in fact, When you select the mission, it will say either in red numbers, you are this much lower than this mission, or you're in green numbers, you are this much higher than this mission. And it's I don't know how I feel about this game. I play it, I enjoy it when I play it, but I will say this: I play about 2 to 3 missions, and then I stop.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. I'll pop into the game and I'll play 2 or 3 missions, and then I'm like, you know what? I'm exhausted, because the first time the tutorial teaches you to do mission tracking, I had like 6 missions to track.
Yeah.
There's so much, and I don't even know that I get so confused and overwhelmed when I'm playing it. So like I'll go into like I'm sure, I don't know if you've made this far yet, Drew, but there's a mission early on where you can go do something for the Hulk. It's like one of his iconic missions.
Yes, I've done
And
the iconic mission for Hulk.
I went and did it, and then I was like, well, can I go back to the base and, do my shit? But the only 2 options were stay in the Quinjet or continue campaign. And I was like,
And
well,
yeah.
what do I like? I hit continue campaign. So here's the funny part. I hit continue campaign. I went back. I started the mission, and I'm like, that's when I was done. So I quit the game. I go back into the game. It didn't save my progress of finishing the Hulk mission. It still said I
Really?
hadn't done it.
That's weird.
And I'm just like, are you telling me that I have to play for an hour and a half before you're going to save my progress on this shit?
That's my thing is like when you boot the game up, you're in quote unquote the story mode. And you can walk around the base, and then you go to the world map and you choose the mission that you want to do. I have yet to find a way to get back there from finishing a mission.
Yeah, unless it's part of the story that they go back there.
Yes, and I'm just like, what? Because I mean, I've done the iconic mission for Hulk. I unlocked the 2 or 3 iconic missions for Iron Man. So you're slowly unlocking characters through the story. And that was what really confused me was when I first got this game, I did like the first 2 opening, story missions. I said, well, let me go to the Avengers initiative, which is what the multiplayer is. And I was just completely confused because, I mean, the multiplayer takes place after the events of the story mode. And I'm like, okay. And so there's a whole bunch of there's people standing in a suit that's not even a man suit. He's just got a pilot helmet on. I'm like, okay, well, stuff went down during the story where he doesn't have a suit. And I was slightly confused. And then it said, okay, go. And I was like, where do I go? And I was just running around this base trying to figure out stuff. There's like the hub world of Destiny. And I was just like, okay, so I kind of just exited out of that and said, let me just keep the story. Then the story eventually gets to where you're doing the exact same thing. Now you can do all the story modes, through this map that you choose, which mission you want to do. Some of them are multiplayer, some of them are not. So the main story missions that have cutscenes, you have to do single player.
I thought you could still invite somebody, like co-op.
You can, but every time I have left the game open to matchmaking, it would sit there for like a minute and finally just like, we're just going to go ahead and start. And I'm just like, okay.
I assume you could invite somebody.
I'm sure you could, but I mean, primarily it feels like that the story missions were made for a single player experience.
This game is confusing and overwhelming for something that I feel like should be simple or simpler.
Yeah. There's also some major glitches in this game.
Yeah.
I have fell through the environment before. I have So, like, there's a lot of platforming in this game sometimes. And Kamala can, like, stretch her arms and grab a ledge and pull herself. One time I did that, and she pulled herself up, and I rocketed, like, 400 feet in the air. And I was like, okay. And there was times where I kind of clipped through the environment on accident. Landed in there's plenty of times where we're having a cutscene and either somebody's not standing there and they're talking, or they're standing there but they're almost in like a T pose and not actually saying anything. And I'm just like, it's like 4 years of development.
Yep.
And I was like, okay.
Video games are hard. I get it, but
Everything you're describing makes me so glad that we've somehow collectively decided that all superhero games are going to be games as a service moving forward.
I really, really, really hope not.
I hope the Rocksteady game is not now.
It sure sounds like it is.
I mean, they
Yeah.
haven't said anything about the game. They just said it was 4-player co-op. That's all they said. I mean, the Gotham Knights one, I think, kind of is.
Gotham Knights looks like Destiny for sure.
Yeah, well,
it's down
if
to
you
the
put
down to
Destiny
the
in
little
full-
damage numbers floating over people's heads.
oh yeah, that's totally the Avengers. Like, I mean, if like Destiny can be played in third person when you have like a melee weapon. Like that's totally what Avengers looks like when you're playing it.
Yeah.
And all of that shit is there. Even it even kind of has the Ingram system, because like for costumes you find this fucking, I forget what they call it, and then you take it back to the ship and you decode it and it gives you a costume.
Yeah. There are a ton of microtransactions.
Oh yeah, oh my god, they're so expensive. Did you do the conversion on it?
Yeah.
Was a costume is like what, $15?
It's up there. Now
I'm just like,
Square has came out and said that everything in the game can be gotten from playing. But
yeah,
it's gonna take
have you
a
checked how
long-
much you've earned playing so far?
0.
I mean, I've got 380, which by the way is not enough to buy a costume, and I've got like 4 hours in the game.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably put maybe 6 or 7 hours into it, and I have like 0. I think I may, because the problem is one of the quote unquote little tasks that you have to do. It says, here's a vendor, and you can spend this resource to get cosmetic things like a new banner or a new costume. And I'm like, okay, I don't want any of this stuff right now. No, you can't leave that menu without spending what they gave you. And I'm like, okay, well, I kind of wanted to save it to maybe get a costume, but I guess I'm going to get this banner that I'll never use.
Yeah. It's a lot,
So,
man. And the
yeah.
game is constantly like annoying you too. Like during missions, I'll be playing and they'll pop up this big, like, warning message at the bottom of the screen. It's like, you have higher level gear. I'm like, I'm busy.
Yeah.
I'm punching people. I'm doing my. Don't tell me I have higher gear. I probably just picked it up.
My thing is that message will pop up, and I'll go into the menus and look at all my gear, and all of the quote unquote higher level gear brings all of my stats down.
Yeah, because it's not. It might be a higher. It's got the Destiny number, so like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But like a 10 might not be as good as the, rare 8 that I have equipped.
Exactly.
Also, you don't see the gear, FYI.
No, gear does not change the appearance of the character. That's why you have your costumes.
Yep. Only the costumes. And what's funny is when you like are hovering over to equip the gear, it shows you where it puts it and it shows you what it would look like, but you don't actually ever see it.
Yeah.
It's a weird fucking game.
It is a strange game.
I will say, looking at the list of voice actors, actresses, whatever, I recognize like 99% of them.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
got a lot of big
Nolan
name
North,
people.
right, is Iron Man. Troy Baker's Bruce Banner. The Hulk is played by Darren DePaul, who's everybody that you've ever he's in everything. Laura Bailey is Black Widow. And she was Mary Jane Watson in Spider-Man.
She was also in Last of Us, right?
Yep, she's Abby.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Let's see. Travis Willingham, who is Thor, was Harvey Dent in the Batman Telltale series. And he's a couple voices in a bunch of other stuff as well. That's just the first one that showed up. Sandra Sad is the only one who hasn't been in a ton of stuff, but she was in Rage 2 and Call of Duty Modern Warfare as a couple voices. Jeff Sheen, who is Captain America, assuming I'm pronouncing his name correctly, he's in Wasteland 3. He was also Carlos in Resident Evil 3. Everybody I go through in this list, even lesser characters, it's somebody. I'm surprised. Yeah.
Square spent a lot of money on this game.
But not the development. What? Just after this many years?
And like Drew said, this game is very high quality. It looks great. Which, by the way, I will say, this has one of those performance versus 4K modes. And I actually switched back to the 4K mode because the performance mode is inconsistent. And I would rather have a locked 30 than a highly variable. The 60 frames per second mode drops down to in the mid 40s at times, and it's very jarring.
Yeah.
So I switched back to the 4K mode, but it looks fantastic.
Yeah, it does.
But I'm there with Drew. This is one of those games that I'm playing, and I will only play it for one or two missions, and then I just do not want to play it anymore.
Yeah. They've got small missions that start to unlock where it's legit 5 to 10 minutes tops. And then they've got missions that are Destiny's Strikes, which are not story missions, but have a little bit more depth to them that could last you maybe 45 minutes to an hour.
And they have the Destiny stuff where it's this mission is guaranteed to give you this, and there are also areas where you can't respawn. Respawning is restricted.
Yep.
It's straight up Destiny.
It is.
Totally.
It is Destiny, but with Marvel characters and melee combat.
Yep. 100%.
And if you're a Marvel fan, then you're gonna have a ball.
You know what the quickest way to get me to not interested in something is to say it's like Destiny. And I know that's people's jam, so I'm not even. I bounced off that game hard. It's just not for me.
I think another thing that I should probably kind of bring up about this game is we call it Destiny. I think the game is fun, but it is not of the quality. See, one of the things that really got me into Destiny was the fact that it played fucking sublime.
Yes.
This game does not. It plays fine, but the manual lock-on sucks.
Yes.
There are tons of times when you're playing as Iron Man where you get locked into knockdown animations where they just repeat. I'm looking at the part where you got to fly through the base, and when one missile hits you, you can pretty much guarantee 3 more are going to hit you.
Yep.
And you can't move because you're in an animation of falling down. I really wish there was a hard lock where when you locked onto a target, it would immediately switch between targets. It does not do that. You have to click in on the right stick to lock on, and then you have to do it again for the next enemy.
Yeah.
It's just not good. And the auto aiming for the shooting is terrible, so I will miss shots constantly with Iron Man.
Well, you brought up a good fact that you get stun locked in the air with Iron Man.
Yes.
Being in the air in this game is not recommended.
This ain't no Anthem flying.
No, this is if you are in the air, you are automatically vulnerable because pretty much almost every enemy in this game has ranged attacks. And once you go up in the air, all you can do is shoot, and the shooting is not good. So you might as well just come back to the ground.
Yep.
So I don't.
I feel and I hate when we say this because it's becoming a common thing. I bet this game is really good in a year. Sea of Thieves, like we hoped Anthem would be, but clearly that didn't happen. Rainbow Six was another game that got really good after a year. You know, I don't hate this game. I just don't. It's not like a game I want to play nonstop.
Yeah. Like I was hardcore into Destiny 1 for like, I put like 200 something hours in that game, but I don't see myself putting that many hours in this game. I see myself finishing the story and maybe doing a little bit of in-game stuff and saying, yeah, I'm good.
I remember seeing the discussion around this game when the beta was out. People were like, "This isn't my jam. This is too much Destiny." And then when they actually got the game, the thing is it's really deceiving in the beginning because it follows like a linear story for the first couple hours.
Yeah, like the first 3 hours of that game is straight up just a story, cutscene,
Yeah, and I think that's where all
set
the
piece to set
impressions.
piece.
Yeah, I think that's where all the impressions switched over to like, well, why didn't they promote this? And I'm like, well, now that I've played more of them, like because after you get past that, it's gone.
Yeah.
And like it goes back to being what the beta was, which is a war table full of missions, and you can go on them, and it's Destiny, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well, anything else before we move on about that game?
No, I played the majority. Like I stopped playing God of War so I could play this, so I could try to get a review done. But I don't think I'm going to get a review done this week. Like,
yeah.
I don't feel
if it makes you
comfortable. Go ahead.
If it makes you feel better, like I've seen a lot of sites going, "This is a review in progress."
Yeah, a lot of
even
reviews in progress.
A lot of them aren't even comfortable with saying whether or not the game is good. They're like, it's fine, but like it could get worse. Like, I mean, it's kind of like trying to review an MMO, I suppose. Now that this is the thing, right? That's kind of taking over MMOs. Like this, how many games try to be that service? Because you can't even say that. Like, comparing it to Rainbow Six isn't really necessarily fair because Rainbow Six is a multiplayer shooter still.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, right? It could be ongoing, but it's a multiplayer shooter that just gets updated. It's not like Destiny where it has to be added to consistently. So, like, I don't think there's any guilt in being like, I can't review this yet because everybody else seems to be in the same boat. And those people get paid. So...
Yeah. All right. Any other games or just that one? Or did you just leave the call?
I'm still here. Drew?
Sorry, I was getting a phone call at the same time.
That's fine. Do you have any other games?
I just Overwatch. I stopped playing God of War to try to get enough time into the Avengers.
All right. New season, by the way.
Yeah, I don't care.
You don't do comp anymore?
I mean, I do my tank and my healer, and that's pretty much it. And after I rank, I don't play anymore.
Oh, I don't play comp anymore, but I do all of them. I do all 25 rounds.
I don't really feel like waiting in a queue for 5 to 10 minutes to lose a DPS match.
Yeah, I won 4 out of my 5.
Well, I'm getting paired up with idiots because I don't play DPS.
All right. Well, I'll move over to Anthony. I'm getting that feedback again, FYI.
All right, that's his way of solving it.
He just fucking fuck you off.
Yep. Yeah, he just left. I assume that phone call is important. Yeah, so I think I'm pretty much at this point ready to write my review on. I have not seen the end of it. I'll be straight honest, but Samurai Jack's wearing thin on me. It's very much a basic version of something like Devil May Cry, but I feel like that's too nice of a statement. It's not a bad game at all, but it's clearly the B tier version of it's just a button masher, because you can switch weapons, but because it's not quick to switch, you don't feel like the combos are just mash, 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 mash. And the fact that you have to unlock the fact that the fourth time you mash a button does something different, like really, like you get to the point where it's like there's no real. It's kind of chaos, and I'm fighting the same enemies. I'm tired of fighting the bugs. The zombies were neat when they added them, but now it's like I have to fight them too. And here's the giant guys, and now we give them a different weapon, but they still look the same. The coolest part of this game has had is I'm in a futuristic city now, but it's still the same. It's like every time you add a new enemy, it's like, here we've added a new enemy, here's a cutscene. But then it's just, you're gonna have to fight this enemy from now on top of all the other shit you fought. And they do this thing where they will sometimes put you in an arena where they weaken the enemies, so you're slicing through them really quick. And there's just kind of no reason why I should be able to slice through them that quick, other than they want me to feel powerful, I suppose. But then just don't make the enemies as spongy. Like, I'm conflicted with that game. It's not bad. I feel like it's a really good way if you wanted to get your kids to something like Devil May Cry without, the maturity of Devil May Cry. I say that with like some sarcasm, because Devil May Cry is stupid fun. But like, the problem is that it just doesn't work as fluidly as other fighting, like as other games. It feels like, I can't even say PS2 because Devil May Cry was on PS. It just feels very old in some of the choices it makes. And it was fine at first, and I thought I'll level up, but now I'm getting to the point where I can't level up unless I grind, because it's just not giving me enough. Like, sure, I have the whatever the main currency there is to level up, but I have to get this other currency that is harder to get from enemies to level up further. So like there's this like green, there's these white drops that they have, and then there's like a green like flame, and those green flames are needed, but I don't get enough of them to level up consistently, and I don't know how to get him faster. And like I have a bunch of like gemstones I need to level up further in the chain, but I can't get the stuff before it. And it's like, all right, well then I'll just buy another training thing from the shop, because that's another thing. And I have a ton of money, but like it takes so much to level up the sword. And like, sure, I can level up other weapons, but it just increases the damage of them. Like it's weird. It's a weird game where it's like, it's so close to being really good, and then it just doesn't make that jump over. However, I've played a way better game, and that is Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. And holy shit.
That game is so good.
Wow, that game is fantastic. It's I'm starting to get back into the flow of things too. Like at first it was like so hard to even get like the basic score in the warehouse level of 1. And now I'm like, whatever, I can do that in one trick. The only thing that's weird is like I think the amount of detail they've put in, because there's a ton. Like there's a small little alien doll in the first warehouse. You can see a cat run by outside at one point. Like there's a bunch of small details in every level. It's made some of the objectives hard to see. Like when the walls were just kind of flat textures, the school bells, for example, would have stuck out better. Right now I'm in the downtown area, and I have the downhill jam in the downtown area of 1, and there's just some certain goals that I cannot do because I'm like I can't see them when I'm riding. Like I just can't see where the stuff is. But other than that, this is the way to play 1 and 2 at this point. I wish the character creator was kind of absurd like it was in 3, but It's okay. I play as a skeleton character that came with the version of the game I bought. When I'm just trying to get the high scores and levels, but fuck, it's so good. The soundtrack is great because I can just take out all the stuff I don't like.
You can also skip tracks, which is awesome.
Yeah, I just removed all the tracks I don't like. Like, I'll give it a shot. Nope, that one's not getting replayed.
Mine's just Superman. That's the only song on my soundtrack. No, I'm kidding.
Oh my God.
I'm kidding.
That would drive me up the fucking wall.
Hell, I could listen to that song on repeat all day. It's so
I mean, it's not bad. I've listened to New Girl on repeat from Suicidal Tendencies, but or Suicide Machines. Sorry. It's just wow. It's like it's right back to nostalgia. And like one thing that I noticed is like the mall is decrepit. Was that always what it was supposed to look like? You know,
yeah, it was like a shut down mall.
But I always thought it looked cleaner than that. Boy, does it look like trash when you're riding through it. And I just like all the little details that they've done to the game, and the tutorial is fantastic. Like I don't know if you went through that, Ken.
Yep, I did because I was still waiting for it to download.
So,
yeah,
this is exactly how I did it too. But like Tony Hawk narrates it, and like he must be one of the kindest men on the face of the planet. He just sounds so enthusiastic the whole time. It's just.
I like all the stuff they added, like the challenges. So like when you level up your character, they've got these challenges and you can do them. And every time you do one, you can collect it and unlock some new stuff. It's that nice little carrot on a stick that you don't have to do it, but it keeps you kind of going.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because every character has those too.
Yep, every character has specific ones that'll unlock new boards and stuff.
Like, I don't know who you play as, Ken, but
I did a custom character. I played as Tony for a while, and then I
played as Tony. But I always was a fan of Chad Muska because he has a really high grind stat. He's a street skater, and so like I play as him quite a bit. I have a custom character that looks as much like me as possible, and I play as Tony quite a bit. But then I have the extra character that came with like the digital deluxe or whatever, which is a skeleton character.
I have that version, but I don't even know if I've played as that character. I know there's unlockable characters too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I heard, Jack Black plays Officer Dick.
Perfect. Oh God, I like that character because the voice, when you get like your special meter up, it's this demonic voice that comes over, and he's got some great tricks. Like Coffin is one of them, but the other one is the marionette or the puppeteer or something like that, where he juggles the board between his feet while he's in the air. God damn, it's weird because I feel like I'm talking about the same game I played 20 years ago. You know?
It was in the late 90s, yeah.
Yeah. But the only thing I can complain about is that my hands are so sore after playing.
Yeah, it's
like I end up playing with like a claw grip so I can hit and I tried playing with like the paddles on the Elite controller and it wasn't working for me because like jump is A. Like I cannot get over the fact that jump is A. And grind is Y, X is your flip tricks, and B your grab tricks. And I tried setting jump to like a paddle and grind to another paddle, and it just wasn't working. So I play with like a claw grip. So like my middle finger is on the trigger, the index finger is on the Y button, so I can grind easily, and my thumb goes between A and X. But you have the skate park maker, which I haven't even tried yet. There's just so much. And speaking of in-game stores, none of this takes real currency.
Nope, you just earn the money as you play, and then
you earn money every time you go through a level, even if you don't hit one of the goals.
Yeah,
like that. That's great. I like the way that that the game does the progression. Still, they've added stuff to the levels, too, because like I don't recall having to get fire hydrants in the warehouse level. I don't think that was an original thing. I don't think that was in the original. I don't remember the bells in the school level of 1 because I don't think you could wall ride in 1.
You could not wall ride in 1.
Yeah, so the bells are added in on the school level. It's getting used to like having to manual between tricks and stuff. It's still getting, but like the biggest goal right now is to land a 900, which is so fucking hard because getting that amount of air.
Really?
Yeah, I cannot get it every time. He finishes the trick and it fucking wipes out.
I nail it all the time. No
Fuck
problem.
you, Ken.
Sorry. That's one of my tricks for my created skater. My other one is the pizza delivery where I put my board on my finger and spin it around like a pizza box.
I tried to go for the skeleton character has been customized because you can put 10 tricks on him right away.
Yeah.
And so everything that looks like you're going to die, I put on him. Just this is a really dumb thing to do with a skateboard. Perfect. Add that to him. What else is there? I just can't think of. There's small changes to every level, and I like the fact that going through again, it feels like I'm playing the original game, but it's clear that they've made changes. I have not tried playing with the original controls because you can put the rule setting / controls to like Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 or 2.
Yeah, it'll just limit what you can't do.
Yeah, and I think it limits what you can unlock as well.
Yeah.
So, but,
I also like the what was I going to say? The assist stuff is nice for if you suck. You can turn on so that manuals and grinding don't have a balance meter. You can turn it on so that you never bail. So
yeah,
if you like these games but just can't do some of the higher end stuff, that's a really nice feature to have.
Yeah, I can't believe how good this game is, especially after, let's be honest, it was a bad run. There was a drought. The last game was terrible.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Activision upped their contract with Tony Hawk because
I'm surprised
I figured
he upped his contract with him because I know he left at one point.
Well, yeah, I think it was after that. It was just kind of like, we're done here. Yeah. So I don't know how they made that work, but Vicarious Visions did a great job. I think they were the team that did the old Game Boy Advance games, which were really good as well.
They might be. I think about Tony Hawk and I get really sad because it put Neversoft on the map, and then Neversoft eventually just got stripped down and became a Call of Duty support studio.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody that was essential to what Tony Hawk became was already gone by that point.
Yeah.
Like one of the main guys behind the studio, left and did other stuff with his money, good things with his money, if I'm correct. It's just, it is weird to think that we have 4 games on the PlayStation 1. That's how long that game stuck around on old consoles, because 3 and 4 came out on PS2 as well.
Yep.
And
3
then,
was the first game that was online on the PS2.
And it was big enough where the Xbox got this special version, which is 2X, which is 1 and 2 combined. Tony Hawk Underground was big.
Thug
and Thug 2.
That was during the Bam Margera days, the Jackass days.
Yeah, and then the fucking games just kind of died. And I've heard that the DS games are pretty good approximations of what Tony Hawk Pro Skater was on the DS. But
I mean, they even tried a remake of 1 and 2 before that didn't turn out good.
Yeah, we don't talk about that, Ken.
I mean, I just did.
But then, I think 5 was built off that same engine. What the fuck happened to this series? So to see it come back and be this good, And this true to form makes me very happy. Like it's just been like a lot of fun, a lot of anger too, because like I'm like, I did this when I was younger. How come I can't do this now? But I don't know, man. It's one of the few times where it's like I feel like I'm a kid again. Like the only other thing I can think of was playing. I know everybody hates when I bring up Wonder Boy, but like that, I mean, I put those in the same camp of like, oh my god, someone cared enough about this to make it amazing. And like the teams, because the people, because I know it's not just Vicarious Visions. There is another name that comes up on the title screen, and I just cannot remember who right now. But like just a lot of love went into this, and they redid the intro, so it's got some of the classic VHS footage, and then it's got new footage, and they brought in new skaters, including Tony Hawk's son, and just really good representation all around. And fuck, man, it's just this is how you do a remake. Everything's like fucking spot on.
There are some games that really stoke like periods in my life, and Tony Hawk is one of those. And it feels good to be playing like the songs that play like trigger nostalgia in my brain.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, like, you like a lot of people, Superman, of course, the Goldfinger, New Girl, Screamer, Police
Fucking
Truck.
Guerrilla Radio.
Yeah.
I mean, so many songs on that soundtrack that come. Like a lot of them, I don't even know the bands, but I know the
Song. Yeah. I kind of hope they remake 3 and 4.
I mean, if this
And-
makes money, which it certainly will, I'm sure they will.
I hope they make 3 and 4 as a package, though.
Yeah, that would make sense.
That would
1
make
and 2,
sense.
3 and 4, and
Four.
then they'll try to do Thug, and I'm like, nah, it's okay.
No, yeah. Yeah, no, let's not do that.
I don't need Thug. I don't need American Wasteland. I don't need Project
those-
8. We're good.
Those games feel very much like a product of their time. I don't know how either of those games thematically would feel in 2020. Like they were very much, like you said, a product of the Jackass sort of boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Jason Lee is in Project 8, and it just makes me like feel Mallratsy.
well, I mean, he is a skateboarder in real life too.
I
So.
know. I'm just saying, it's like it's weird
It
to
is
see
weird.
Brody doing tutorials. You know,
But yeah, I'm impressed all around. Like, I don't know. I hate to gush about stuff because it feels wrong to just be like, oh my god, this game's perfect. But like, the game had a lot of impact on me, and there aren't sports games, I guess, anymore. Like, I know people love to skate. It's a very different game than this, though. This is the arcadey fun that had me interested in skateboarding, although I never did it. I own 2 sweatshirts that are like blind sweatshirts, but I never actually picked up a skateboard in my life. I am that poser. But yeah, I just couldn't believe how amazing this is. That's all from me, though.
All right, I'll move on to the Wombat.
All right. Well, it's been forever and a day since I've been on here. But the reason I haven't been on here is because I've been super busy, and so because of that, I haven't really played much either.
All right.
So I let's see. Let's think back 3 weeks ago. I have played and reviewed Samurai Showdown Collection, which is a cool little collection. I would say, to give it sort of the quick hit, I would say if you like Samurai Showdown, you'll really dig this collection. It's got, the first ever release of Samurai Showdown 5 Perfect. It's all the games are emulated perfectly from the arcade. There's an HD scaler that improves the sprite quality when the camera zoomed out. The museum is really cool. There's some cool stuff in there. I will say, though, don't buy this if your intention is to play it online. because I have tried to find a game in every single game in the package across both the Xbox and the PC and have yet to be able to get into a multiplayer game.
Wow.
So if you have any intention, the problem is just the collection, I think, is too it's too spread out. I mean, you've got 7 games in the package, and each has a ranked and a casual option under multiplayer. So it's too diffuse. So they should have found a better matchmaking solution for that, like a lobby that shows you who's available in what games or something. But either way, it's a good game. Other than that, I have played. I got Ring Fit Adventure, which is a really fun exercise game, and it's a good workout too, for sure. But it's got, for those of you who haven't seen it or heard of it, it's got 2 pieces. One is a big ring that has resistance when you push in or pull out on the ring. And you hook one of the Joy-Cons, the right Joy-Con, into that. And then there's a strap that goes around sort of mid-thigh that you put the other Joy-Con in. And then the game has, for an exercise game, what you would expect, like a list of exercises you can do. You can configure your own sort of custom workout plan or whatever. But the big attraction is there's like a what they call an adventure mode, where there are parts that are, the closest thing to what I would call platforming for a game like this, where you have to run, like actually run in place. And then you can point the ring con towards the ground and squeeze it in to jump. Or you can squeeze it in front of you to like blast. And the ring con's got some good resistance to it. So,
it's an actual Pilates ring, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
I have to read you, because you just brought it up, about the resistance. My friends just got it. It's like, ask how much of a workout do you want, and I was like, give me intense. And today was like, oh, was that too hard, too little? And I jacked up the level again, saying it was too easy. You can't even really cheat at the game because the band is tough to squeeze and pull. You can kind of cheat in squats if you lift your knee high enough, but since it only detects the tilt of the Joy-Con strap to your leg. But it's still fucking exercise, hiking your knees out, so never mind.
Yeah, it's definitely, if you do the stuff right, especially, if you're somebody that's in tremendous shape already, it's probably not going to do much for you. But, for somebody like me who used to be in shape a long time ago and is well past that, it's a good workout. I definitely have felt it the last couple days, so.
I also heard it doesn't treat you like shit like Wii Fit did.
No, it's like, for sure.
Hey, you're fat. Get off the scale. Like, what?
Yeah, no, it definitely doesn't act like that. It does a good job at the beginning of kind of asking you, how old are you? How much do you weigh? And then it'll ask you, like, how much do you exercise compared to your peers? And, do you want this to be, a casual experience? Do you want a moderate workout, a heavy workout, or an intense workout? And then it kind of adjusts from there. But then the nice thing it does is it actually measures your strength at first. So it tells you to push in on the Joy-Con and hold, or the ring con and hold it. And it gives you like a strength rating, so that it knows what to expect when it asks you to squeeze the ring in. So it's not going to ask you to squeeze the ring all the way in as far as it can go if you've shown that you can't do that. And then the same thing on running. It lets you measure light jogging and then intense running. And then that's what it uses to determine whether or not what you're doing is light running or intense running. It's not some sort of arbitrary standard that everybody has to live up to. So
it's really smart, because I was just about to ask whether or not your son could play it.
Yeah, he can, and actually has been. So yeah, he enjoys it a lot. Actually, all 3 of us, myself, my wife, and my son, have been playing it. We all like it. So yeah, that was the biggest sort of gaming investment I've made in the last week or so. Other than that, I actually, in the big Switch sale last week, I picked up NBA 2K20 for the Switch for $3. And then the next day, Ken sent me the code to review 2K21 for Xbox. So I gotta get that booted up. I have not had a chance yet to play 2K21. It's on my docket for today, but I haven't had a chance yet to play it. So I do have that waiting in the wings. And then other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I played. I watched my son play a lot of Fortnite with the Marvel stuff this season, which looks pretty cool. There's a Sentinel graveyard, which is a really cool environment.
Because they have all those X-Men rights back. They're like, time to get X-Men back into the kids' eyes.
Yeah, and so you've got my son's learning all these Marvel characters as he goes here. So he's telling me, he's like, there's this really cool character that you can unlock later on in the tiers. I can't remember what tier it is now. It might be 80. And she can like turn into other characters. And I'm like, oh, is it Mystique? And he goes, yeah. How'd you know it was Mystique? And I'm like,
How'd you know?
Yeah.
Let me show you this movie from 2000.
Yeah. Let me show you these comic books from 1983.
Yeah.
And then he said he showed me Storm, and he's like, look at this selectable style for Storm, and it's her with the punk rock hairdo from the early 80s, the Mohawk. Yeah, and I said, you know what's funny is that's the Storm that I remember, because the very first X-Men comics I read weren't contemporary comics. They were comics from the early 80s. So like the Kitty Pryde and Lockheed and Storm with the Mohawk, that was the X-Men comics that I grew up on. So it's cool. And they've got, the classic brown and yellow-ish Wolverine.
So they have different costumes for all the heroes?
They have, some of the heroes have what they call selectable styles, and then some of them have emotes. So like with She-Hulk, Jacob has unlocked the red She-Hulk, and it's not Betty Ross. It's the red She-Hulk was Betty Ross in the comics, but it's an emote. So and now I'm blanking on She-Hulk's name. God, I can't remember. But when you're playing just as her, she has an emote where she turns into She-Hulk, and then you can play as She-Hulk for a while. So it's really well done, at least from what I've seen so far. You've got Dr. Doom as an unlockable character, which is pretty cool.
Because I saw the little splash screen or whatever of it that they put out, the teaser, and I was impressed that it's the current comic version of Thor. Because it's not what people think of when they think of Thor's costume now. Like, it's not the cinematic universe or like the old style of Thor. It's the current one, which has like a big lightning bolt and stuff. Like, it's neon. Looks like more like Tron, to be honest.
Yeah, it's definitely much more comic-centered version of Marvel, and not the movies version of Marvel.
Makes me happy.
Yeah,
I know that's a very weird statement to make, but like those are the versions of the characters I like. So
right, yeah, for sure.
It's kind of funny that you say that, like your son telling you things that you know, like, and being impressed that you know it. I'll give you a funny one. The other day, my son comes to me. He's like, "Hey, Dad, do you know there's a new PlayStation coming out called the PlayStation 5?" I was like, actually, yeah, I'm quite aware.
I'm quite aware.
It's just funny to hear them tell you things that, like, and they're so proud, and they're like, "Wow, you really know that."
Wow.
Yeah, it's just funny. He's like, "Well, I just figured I'd let you know in case you were interested."
That's funny. So one point I'm going to make just real quick, and I don't know if it works this way on 2K21 on the Switch, but the super annoyance on 2K20 on the Switch is that because the career mode requires you to be online, if the console goes to sleep while you're playing a career mode game, it kicks you out.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous. But
Oh.
anyhow, I hate the always online stuff for that kind of thing. I know they do it because of the coins and the microtransactions and all that, but God, it sucks. So
Future of gaming.
But yeah, that's it. So this week I'll be playing a lot of 2K21, and then there's no real new stuff that I'll probably be picking up for the next little bit. So I didn't mention I started Divinity 2 and got, I don't know, 5 or 6 hours into that. But I haven't played it in a couple weeks just because I've been too busy. So I do have it started now, though.
Yeah, you're still in the tutorial.
Yes, I am still in the tutorial. That's correct.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll finish this off. The two biggest games we already talked about, Tony Hawk and Marvel's Avengers. Good week for video games. But I'll go through the indie stuff. But first, I downloaded Spellbreak, which I don't know if anybody else has played that. It's another battle royale game. It's a third-person, like, spell casting kind of battle royale. It's interesting. It plays pretty good. Again, I don't think I'll keep. I think I try every one of these because I want a battle royale to hit me at some point, and so far, absolutely none of them have. I think PUBG was the one I played the most of, and I fell off that after about a week. So, I think that's it for the regular stuff. And then I did the indie games this week. Probably the highlight of those games this week was I don't know. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it's Touhou Luna Nights. I don't know how you
Just say Toho if I could.
Touhou is a pixelated Metroidvania, where the kind of gimmick is that you can slow down time, and it's very stylized. I like the way when you slow down time because your character, their attack is like throwing knives. So like when you slow down time, you can throw the knives, and then like you can jump and put them in different places so that when you speed time back up, they all go flying into the enemies, and it's really cool. I really like the art style of it. It's got kind of like those chubby pixels, which I kind of like more than the old school kind of pixelated stuff. It's very stylized, plays really well. I really like that game. Not only is it an indie game, but it's also on Game Pass. So if you have a hankering for one of those, I'd suggest checking it out. It's pretty cool. Still playing Hot Shot Racing. I can't talk about that until the 18th, I think. I booted up Lair of the Clockwork God, and the first thing it did is ask me if I wanted to see the Origins, which was a visual novel. So I booted that up, and I didn't really get into that, and then I booted up the actual game, and I found it interesting that it's like very fourth wall breaking of so like the main character's like, well, I want to do point and click, and the other dude's like, well, I want to do platforming, and then it's really well written. It's an interesting game. I think I need to play some more of it before I kind of get into it. I played a game called Lose Revenge, where you're the devil going through like an isometric shooter. It's not a hateful game, but at the same time, I really don't like it's a twin stick shooter, but like you have to, like you aim with the right stick, but your character only moves when you aim them. So it's not, so like if you're walking and you're aimed towards the bottom, he's like moonwalking, and it just looks really weird. Visually it looks okay, it plays fine. It's got some real bad loading times. It's fine. Mushroom Savior is another one of those room by room puzzle games where you solve a puzzle in a room, move to the next room. This one is about moving blocks and figuring out which direction to take. Everything is moved in a in a 4x4 grid, so you can move up, down, left, or right. Quick reset. It's a brain teaser. It was interesting for, the 20, 30 minutes that I played it, but not something I would go out of my way to tell you to play. I found it interesting that the game is only like 30 megabytes when I downloaded it. So, that's not hateful. Tony Stewart's All-American Racing. And the only reason I laugh about this is the game starts off with an intro full motion video of Tony Hawk telling you about your race time.
You mean Tony Stewart?
Yeah, sorry, Tony
You said
Stewart.
yeah, not Tony Hawk.
There's
That's a
too many
different game.
Tonys this week.
Yeah, I know.
Tony.
Fuck off.
But it's like a 5-minute video of him telling you, like, I'm looking forward to your race, and you can't skip it. So I had to sit there and watch him tell me all this, and then I get into the game, and it's balls fucking hard. I finished 16th. And, like, I didn't even fuck up. Like, it's an oval lap. It's hard to not do that, and I still couldn't win. And normally racing games, like the first race you play, they're like, yeah, you're the winner, you're gonna win. And this one, you're like, you fucking suck. But
Is
plays
it a
fun.
NASCAR game?
No, it's like the first race was on like a dirt oval with like what kind of car? Like a funny car kind of thing.
Sprint car, probably.
Yeah, it plays fine, looks okay. So, wow, I can hear myself echo. It's driving me crazy. The next game I played is a puzzle game. It's a puzzle game called Batu Ta Batu. And the way this game works is there are 4 squares in the middle of the puzzle, and then on each side of the puzzle is a color. And the objective is to take and swap the pieces so that the colors mesh into each other. And it's actually really kind of addicting. And I thought it was very fun. The next game is called CD Run. And it's I think it's up to 8-player multiplayer game where you're just a block that runs from left to right, and the last person standing wins. Yeah. Mask of Mists is a first-person game where you are solving environmental puzzles. It's got an interesting kind of cartoon-style look. It's not hateful, but it's not great. And then the weirdest game I played I played another game called Perfect Traffic Simulator. There's no tutorial in this game, and I have no fucking idea how to play it. It's one of those games where you set it up, and then you hit go, and then the choices that you made have to result in a good run. And I can't
like Lemmings?
figure. Yeah, kind of like that. Except you have cars in 2 different lanes. And it didn't really tell me how to switch the cars and how to stop them or what am I supposed to do. Like, there's literally no tutorial, and in the menu system, there's nothing that tells you how to play. So it literally gives you an option of here are 2 lanes, here are 6 cars, pick a car and hit A. And no matter which car I picked, they always hit each other. I have no fucking idea how to play this game. And then the last game I played it's weird for an Xbox game to be aimed at children, like little children. It's called Educational Games for Kids for Xbox. And when you boot it up, there's like this row of characters, and each one is a different age group. So like, this is for age group 3 to 5. This is for age group 5 to 7. And these are just little mini games that you can play. They are so simple that when you fuck up, you feel like a moron. And I totally did. I played the 3 to 5-year-old tricycle racing game, and I fucked up, and I was like...
Speaking to what Anthony was talking about earlier, I used to be able to do this when I was a kid. Why can't I do it now?
Although I did pop a wheelie for 10 seconds, which gave me an achievement, and I felt very proud of that.
Are you
But no,
smarter
it's
than
actually-
a 5th grader?
It's actually good. So like, if you've got little kids, it's just a weird game because you don't look at Xbox as like little kids games, you know. it's a weird thing to come out. It was a weird thing to show up in my inbox, and I played it, and I'm like, outside of Toho Lunar Nights, this is probably the best indie game I've played this week.
Wow. That's a real dagger in the heart of the other stuff you played.
Maybe not Batu Tabata. That game is cool. If you like puzzle games, I suggest checking that out. But yeah, it's just weird. And it's another example of just, there are too many fucking video games. Like, I know we joke about it every week that we don't need these new consoles, but we really don't need these new consoles. There are too many video games. And speaking of which, let's talk about the video games that are coming out this week. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning.
You get a discount on PC if you own that already.
That game is good, and I look forward to playing it again.
I own a copy, and I've never opened it.
Oh my god, it's a good game. Minecraft Dungeons, the Hero Edition. This next game sounds like one of the jokes you would make in grade school when you thought you were clever. Like Fromunda cheese. Remember that joke? This game is called Necromunda Underhive Wars.
I got some Necromunda Underhive Wars going on right now.
Which, by the way, Wombat, this is a Warhammer game.
Oh, wow. Throw it on the pile.
Throw it on the pile. We got a lot of them. Party Hard 2. RPG.
The partying.
More partying. RPG Maker MV is finally coming out. The Sims 4 Star Wars collection. Journey to Batu. WRC 9 FIA World Rally Championship. The first expansion for The Outer Worlds, Peril on Gorgon.
Now, is that free for Game Pass people?
I believe so, yes. But let me ask you this, Drew. Did you even finish the main game?
No, I played 2 hours that game.
Okay. Well, then you don't need to worry about the expansion.
Yeah, I never finished it either.
All I'm saying is, I'm just curious.
Speaking of expansions, the next Borderlands expansion, Borderlands 3, Psycho, Krieg, and the Fantastic Fustercluck.
I'll make sure to never get to that. Yep.
That's a pretty good name, though. Give
It is.
At least give that credit.
Boy, I fucking bounced off that game after like 3 hours.
Yeah, me too.
So
that's because it was broken on Xbox. That's the reason why
I was
bounced
playing
off
on
of it.
PS4. I was like, yeah, you know what? I didn't need another one of these. Amazing.
The indie Smash Brothers game is finally coming out after being delayed. Bounty Battle.
The fourth?
Probably.
Or third?
Probably. I don't know. I can't keep track. Hidden Through Time, The Legends of Japan. Oh, Hot Shot Racing is out this week. Sorry. Not the 18th. It's out this week. I'll talk about that next week. Minoria.
That's
Hammer.
another Metroidvania.
Of course. It's made by the guys that did, what's that weird...
Yeah. Its name is a joke
Reverie.
off of...
Reverie.
Momodora, yeah. Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Tamarin, Tin, and Kuna. Whatever that is. Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. Wintermoor Tactics Club. Sounds like a young teen visual novel. Okunoka Madness. Say that 3 times fast. CarX Drift Racing Online. Tell Me Why, the final chapter. So that game is finished.
Wow. I have to play that then.
Yep. Final chapter's out this week. All right, let's go over to the Switch. We got Circuit Dude. Shaolin versus Wu-Tang. Don't buy that game. It's very bad. Avicii Inventor Encore Edition. Meganoid. Adventures of Pip.
I believe that was pronounced Avicii.
Avicii, yeah.
Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes.
I thought it was just an acronym
He was
because it's all capital.
Well, he's
DJ.
He was a DJ. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you guys know more about it than I do. Bake and Switch. Death and Taxes. Deleveled. MO Astray. Other Side. Space Robinson. The Snake King. Tomoyo After. It's a Wonderful Life CS Edition. Firework. From 2 and Inertial Drift. Whatever that is.
Inertial drift.
Inertial. I thought it said something else, but it does say
Sounds-
inertial drift.
I understand that it's probably to do with inertia, but it certainly sounds like remember the Goosebumps picture, the Ermagerd Goosebumps. That's what it reminds me of.
That picture, I can like see it in my head when you say it. Ermagerd.
Inertial drift.
I would buy that game then. I would totally buy that game. All right, let's do some news. There's quite a bit happening. First, let's talk about that one that's been rumored forever, but finally came true. Super Mario 3D All-Stars.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, Nintendo finally, like, I remember this happened, like, nobody said it was happening. Like, Nintendo never said it. I woke up, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday morning, and all these people are like, Nintendo Direct just dropped. A lot of stuff in this Direct. It was like 17 minutes long, but the big one is Super Mario 3D All-Stars. It contains Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy.
My only disappointment, and the first one I understand because they'll sell it separately, is no Galaxy 2.
Yep.
The other one is I wish they would have included the DS version of Super Mario 64 as well, because that was a really cool version of that game with the unlockable additional characters.
Me too. That was literally the first thing I thought was like, this is great and all, but like, we're going to talk about things you can't play anywhere else other than the Wii U. It's the DS game. It's stuck on that handheld console, and it's like, there's so much to that game that is great and is fixed from the original. Like the fact that if you fall in TikTok Clock, you don't die immediately. There's that platform you can land on and just take a bunch of damage. Yeah, I was like, they're just never going to do anything with that. Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have wanted them to replace 64 in the collection with that,
and
but it would have been at least nice to have it in there.
Well, it would have been nice if they did just the smallest bit of work on 64. Looks rough, like it is has not aged. Yeah, but it has not aged gracefully, and it's just like part of me is like, I wish they had remade this because the other two games are in widescreen. And 64 isn't. It's stuck the way it is.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's all. It's a minor complaint, and it's like super minor. It's like a weird, like, I wish you had added a little bit more, but I mean, that could be something they could do in the future.
Well, hold on. Speaking of things you can't play anymore, this game is only available until March.
True.
Yeah, that's digitally, that's weird. At first, they were like, it's going to be limited physical. And I'm like, that's a little odd for Nintendo, but okay. Or only downloadable till the end of March or whatever. And I went, what? what the fucking...
Yeah.
Like...
Nintendo is going to start trying to go the Disney route with their characters, which, I can't necessarily blame them for, but...
Also,
but if they were, hold on, I have to argue against that. When have they not been like that? Like,
I mean, they've never cut off the ability to buy something.
Buy something? Yeah, they just never offered you a way to get it again with some of their stuff.
And then some of their stuff, they've offered you 67 ways to buy it again.
I don't want to play Urban Champion ever. Never offer that to me again. No one likes that game. Not a single person. It sucks. It's so fucking bad. And then they're like, what? You like Urban Champion?
No, I was going to continue about Super Mario 3D All Stars. I was done ranting about an NES game that I'll never play again.
But like my thing is like they've never reissued Chibi Robo over here, which is a very good game, and it's like there's a reason why the sequels never felt as good. F-Zero GX. There's another game you could reissue, but it's like it's stuck on the GameCube. That's fucking almost 20 years old now, that game.
90% of the great games are stuck on the GameCube.
But that's my point. Like they've always left stuff just go into the vault. They just never took it out again, ever.
Well, I don't know. I don't
Like, this is the
disagree
first
with
time
you, but
Sunshine's being reissued.
I don't disagree with you. You're right, but the other side of that is there are relatively limited reissues of first-party games on any of the other systems too. There are series that continue to get new entries, but I don't know. There's a difference. I think my preference I understand what you're saying on F-Zero GX is stuck quote unquote on the GameCube. Well, it was a GameCube game. So of course it's on the GameCube.
Yes,
what they should do is make a new F-Zero for Switch.
Right, but
that's
like,
where their their priorities should be.
I'd argue though with other, and this is just with Nintendo. Nintendo, I hate to say it, changes their formula around. Like Galaxy doesn't feel like Sunshine, which doesn't feel like 64, right? So every game, even though it's a continuation, feels very different. So, they're talking about Paper Mario, right? That just came out. That new Paper Mario game doesn't feel like Sticker Star, for good reason. And it doesn't feel like Super Paper Mario or The 1,000-Year Door. And I think all those games, like if they continued on with that style, right? I wouldn't really have much of a complaint, but every game that they do, I feel like they just let those ideas lapse. Because that's where more of the issue comes from, is that they just let all this stuff lapse and then they've moved on to the new version of Mario. The only thing that you can get that's Mario that's still somewhat the same is their new Super Mario Brothers series, which feels like old Super Mario Brothers.
Well, so then, do we have to re-release every Nintendo game every generation?
No, but like don't do a lot of it at all. Like you said that about other consoles, but like Microsoft did their work getting Gears of War, Halo. Sony hasn't been as great this generation, but like in PS3 generation, they had your Ratchet and Clank collection, your Jack Daxter collection, your Sly collection, your God of War collection, your Killzones. Like, Nintendo is the only one. They'll give you NES and Super Nintendo till the end of time, but past that, they've never had the same care to do so.
So I'm not going to push the disagreement super hard, but one of the knocks on the Switch this generation has been about how much of the Nintendo output has been remastered Wii U games. Like they've re-released half the Wii U library.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I get it. I understand that too. I don't know. I feel like it's just saying like they're letting this go into the vault. I feel like they've done up until recently. They've always done that. Then, if that makes sense. But you're right. They have done that with every Wii U game, especially now that Pikmin's coming.
Hey, we got another one. Well, let's move on.
Sorry.
Super Mario 3D All Stars is out in 2 weeks, so that's awesome.
That is surprising. That's more surprising about that than anything, is that it's out that soon.
Speaking of Wii U ports.
I do have one thing I need to
motherfucker,
ask.
we're moving on. Okay.
Well, I can't because I'm delayed on my phone and everybody just keeps talking.
Tell them to shut the fuck up.
Well, everybody shut the fuck up for me. So, my two questions. Mario 64, is the camera going to be the same as it was in Mario 64?
Yeah, it's the original game.
Boy. Second one, how are they going to make FLUDD work properly in Sunshine? Because the triggers on the Switch don't cave in like the...
They don't have analog, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So The big
There's an
thing
extra
with Blood
button.
was,
Well, there's an
you
extra
pull it a
button
little
on the
bit.
Switch. So maybe one
What's
of them
that?
is all the way in, one of them is not.
Is there?
Yeah, there was only 2
Does it-
triggers in the Z button on the GameCube. There are 4 triggers on the Switch.
Okay.
Maybe that's how they do it. I don't know. I know you do have to have Wii remote or Joy-Cons for Galaxy if you want to play it on a Switch Lite. You have to have separate Joy-Cons.
Only if you want to do the pointer stuff, right?
I thought
thought
you
it-
had to.
no, the
No,
pointer
because
stuff-
Mario Galaxy required like motion control.
No, I thought I read that the only thing the Joy-Con was going to be used for in the Switch version was the stuff where you can point at the screen and collect
I thought
bits with it.
No, the pointer stuff is done with the actual touchscreen.
I don't know. There's
I
clearly
mean-
confusion around this package.
It's out in 2 weeks. We'll know by then.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope that you don't need Joy-Cons and you have to waggle them for Galaxy. It might actually make me play it. You know, that's one of the reasons I never played Galaxy. Like,
Oh, you're missing out.
I'm sure
Yeah,
I
you're-
am, but I don't want to waggle.
Well, you don't
Listen,
have to
I
do
beat-
that too often.
I beat most of Galaxy with my son holding a Wiimote and me holding the nunchuck, or vice versa. So you can miss me with the complaints on motion control in Galaxy.
I will not
That
miss you
game
with
was
the
so
complaint.
good. That game was so good.
I'm about to break the internet. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Sunshine's better than both Galaxies.
Yes.
I mean, Sunshine's good. I don't know.
Galaxy
that I agree.
2.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love
Dude.
Sunshine, but
I fucking love
Galaxy
Sunshine.
2.
Yeah.
I'll
Sunshine's
give you
better.
Galaxy 1. No.
The only 3D Mario that's better than Sunshine is 64.
Now you're just wrong.
No, I'm not wrong. 64 is the best 3D Mario, period.
I agree with that,
Ugh.
but I don't agree that Sunshine is better than the Galaxy games. I like the
I mean,
Galaxy
it's okay
games.
to be wrong. I don't mind.
I'm saying this, Ken. Everybody who picks up this game, they're gonna enjoy Sunshine more than.
Sunshine's going to get a revitalization from this game. You watch.
It
It
all
should.
these
It was a
people-
great game.
All these people out there, like, I don't know how many times I've heard this week, like, why couldn't you just not include Sunshine and give me Galaxy 2? I'm like, fuck off.
Yeah, seriously. What are you
The
talking
hatred
about?
for Sunshine is
It's an
disgusting.
amazing game.
I love Sunshine. So good. Anyway, speaking of Wii U ports to the Switch, Super Mario 3D World is coming to the Switch. It's
Enjoy one of the hardest games.
It's
Because
pretty
Awesome though.
you
It is
finish
awesome.
really good though.
you finish the game, you think, and then it's like, what if we gave you a bunch of extra worlds, and you're like, oh sweet, more levels. Then you quickly realize these are fucking hard.
They are including Bowser's Fury, which will feature additional content, including online cooperative play. They will also be releasing 2 new amiibo figures with Cat Mario and Cat Peach. It will be out February 12th, 2021.
I'm just going to tell you, by the way, and my opinion may change on this, but I'm going to put it out there while we're talking about it. I think Odyssey's better than Sunshine, and I like Sunshine.
I think Odyssey is my 3rd favorite 3D Mario. I liked Odyssey, but I didn't adore it. Super Mario Brothers Battle Royale, anybody? From October 1st to March 31st, 2021, Super Mario Brothers 35 will task you with being the last Mario remaining in a battle to the death.
Now, I find it odd that all this is ending in March, which is the month that they released the original Switch. And we're,
Yes.
4 years come this
4
next
years.
March?
Yep.
Yeah. So, like, part of me is wondering what they're planning, if anything. I'm not sure. It just seems kind of odd. Yeah, maybe. I now know why they took down the fan-made Mario Battle Royale, though.
That's because they got their own.
They got their own.
If you want to play Mario on a Game & Watch, you can do that. That's out
Okay.
November 13th for $50.
Can I? This is a rant for no one. This is the most useless thing because you can play Mario. You know what? Again, one of those NES games you can play anywhere. You can play Mario on a lot of things, like this version of Super Mario Brothers.
If there's one thing that I've learned about Nintendo is that nothing they put out is worthless because some people are going to buy it.
For sure. But it's like we've got this version of Ball. Okay, stop doing Ball. There's so many good Game & Watch games. Give me a Game & Watch that has all the Game & Watch games. Like, god damn, there's so many good ones. But they have, like, there's literally a Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch game. There's a Mario Brothers Game & Watch game, which is not related to the arcade game at all. There's Mario's Cement Factory, and they decided to take Ball and put Mario's face on it. And it was just... What a weird thing to do. Because, like, the screen looks nice in it. So I would really like them to, put out the Game & Watch games again.
All right.
It's a minor thing. I know I'm probably the only person on the face of the planet. It's like, I really want to play Game & Watch games, but I loved Mario Cement Factory. I've spent way too much time with it.
I have no interest in this $50 Game & Watch. It's neat, but not for me. And the final piece of news from Mario stream was Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, which is essentially an AR Mario Kart with actual remote control Mario Karts.
Looks cool.
Yep.
It looks cool, but I wonder how it's going to work.
You need a Switch.
Well, you also need a big living room that doesn't have carpet.
Yeah, that's true too.
So there is that.
What I think is the neatest part about it, though, is that they have the camera on top of a car that has Mario racing in it. But when you're looking through the camera, it actually puts on like a new version of Mario that moves his hands and stuff. Like, you don't just see the toy. That's awesome. Like, that's really cool. Well thought out.
I think the thing is cool. I think it's very limiting as to who can actually use it, though.
You mentioned carpets. What about rooms with like low lighting? Like, that's a well-lit living room. Not every house has that much light come into it.
Also, if you want to play multiplayer, everybody's got to have their own Switch
and yeah, the Luigi cart. Yeah.
I'm a believer in some of that stuff now that my son has Anki Overdrive, which is just super cool tech. So we likely will not be picking up the AR Mario Kart, but I am curious to hear some impressions on it once it's out.
Yeah, I'd love to hear what people think about it. I think it looks cool.
I do like the fact that Nintendo is kind of trying to turn toys into video games. Like, they didn't just give you a remote control car. They are giving you a remote control car that is its own video game as well. It's the same with their Lego toys, right? Like, it's not just Lego Mario. It's Lego Mario that is a video game to some extent as well.
Toys to life.
Like literal toys to life, yeah. Not just we put them down on the table and now you get to see them in the video game. That's neat.
Shenmue news. Shenmue is getting an anime that covers, wait for it, the first and second game.
I just wish they would finish the story for the people so I never have to hear about Shenmue again.
They're never finishing the story.
I feel bad for the fans.
All right, this next story is going to get me on a rant, so let's do it.
Oh, boy.
NVIDIA announced their new GeForce cards. The 3000 series. There are 3 cards. The bottom line one, the 3070, $499 US. The 3080 is $699 US. And then the chunky boy, the 3090, is $1,400.
What the hell kind of a jump is that?
That's a lot of money. So,
Yes.
The stories that I saw come out when these cards were announced were, boy, this really takes the steam out of new console launches. Let me back up for a minute here and just say, what the fuck games do these cards have launching with them? What exclusives?
All of them.
What exclusives, Drew?
All of them.
What exclusives?
You can download.
Name me a
like
game.
anything.
Name me a game.
You can play
That's-
Mario 64.
But that's the argument of why the Series X is no longer worth buying, right? Because it doesn't have a game, an exclusive game, right? That's the argument, right?
I
That's a argument, yes.
What's
That
the
is-
other argument?
Huh?
What can I make an
That
argument?
we don't know the price yet, and it's 2 months from launch. But that's an argument against both. So
Well, yeah, that's an argument against everything. But
highly doubt it's
I'm
gonna be
bringing PS5 into
$1,400.
this. I'm bringing PS5 into this as well. Like, people are saying the only game for PS5 is Spider-Man, and if that's delayed, then what's the point of buying one, right? What's the point
Correct.
of buying these cards?
Well, I think it's more of the back. See, it's not.
Yeah, you're trying to find a way around
Hold
this
on,
argument,
hold on,
the fact
hold on,
that
hold
your
on,
games
hold
are going to
on, hold
look
on.
and run better,
Hold on.
right? Oh, wait!
I can tell you right now. I was about to defend the goddamn Xbox, right? The
I'm
only
just
time
saying.
the Xbox, at least you have the whatever can play. Because I'm sure they're going to add 360 and original Xbox stuff still, but it'll
Yeah,
play
that's in
all
there.
your. Yeah, no, but I'm saying they'll add more to it. I'm sure.
Probably.
So it'll play all of that. The PS5, however, doesn't have that full backwards. Their messaging has been bad. I'm still not even sure at this point.
True, but hold on a minute.
But
To-
hold on. This graphics card, which I would never buy. Let's make that clear. For that fucking amount of money,
Mhm.
will take everything that you have and run it at its fullest potential.
But let me ask you this. PS1 and PS2 games, do you really, if they were backwards compatible, do you really need them to run better than they already do?
But they're not. Hold on, that's not a fair comparison because they're built for a specific hardware. No, I don't need Doom to run at 10 million frames per second. You're correct.
Mhm.
But what it will do is take all the more, like the newer games and run them at a higher end than, because most people that are buying that graphics card, I mean, some people like have probably skipped a couple of years because they bought the highest graphics card 2 years ago. That's covered them, right? So whatever, you know what I mean? Like, so it'll take all the games that have come out since then that pushes their graphics cards a little bit, and then it'll play those at the highest amount, and they'll be covered for another few years.
Just like if you bought a new console.
Right, but there's games that you can't get on consoles that are on PC, and vice versa.
The argument you're making, Ken, is an argument of expectations more than anything else. The expectation for new console launches has always been new exclusive games that I can play that I couldn't play before, and the argument on the PC side has always been incremental upgrades to different parts and pieces so that I can play the stuff that I already have in better resolution. Both console manufacturers are trying to do that this gen and saying, look, you can also play the old stuff better in addition to the exclusives. It's an argument of expectations. Of course, people aren't going to have the same expectations for a new graphics card as they have for a new console. It's just the history of the system.
But that's my argument is people are saying that my argument is that these cards are taking away from the consoles. Your point is exactly right. There's people over here who play console games. And all I've heard for the last 6 months is, why would I buy these consoles? There's no new games. Because the people saying that, a lot of times are the people who are PC gamers, and that's cool. If you want to spend $700 to make your games run better, more power to you, brother. I'm happy for you. That's your thing. Don't come over here and ask me why I'm buying an Xbox to run my games better. That's my point. Like,
I don't know what the crossover is on that argument. Like most of the people I have heard saying, why would I want to buy these consoles when there's no games for them, are console players. And they're, console players aren't used to spending $600 just to have something run better.
Maybe not. And you might be right about that. But my point is more towards the guys who are out there saying, well, why would I buy these when I can just build a PC? Let me first start by saying that the person who's buying a console is used to spending $300, $400, $500 every, we'll say a median of 6 years, right? These video cards, are $400, $700, and $1,400 for one piece of a video game. It's two different audiences. Don't mix them up. That is my true argument about this. Console players want to buy a new machine to make their games run better. Cool, do it. More power to you. I don't care where you play, just enjoy playing. But don't make arguments against the other because it doesn't fit your narrative. That's what irritates me. These video cards look awesome. They do.
Yeah, I don't understand why somebody who's willing or interested in spending $1,400 on a graphics card even cares about the consoles, because they're gonna play everything even better anyway.
Don't use the line, I don't see a reason to buy these, because clearly, regardless of when the price of these consoles comes out, regardless of how many consoles there are this fall, Sony, Microsoft will sell out of Series X and PS5s this fall. Because there are enough, according to you, quote-unquote stupid people who just want new consoles. Just like you want a new video card. A lot of these people may have the highest-end video card that's available right now, but these video cards are better. You're right. That's why we're buying a Series X. That's why we're buying a PS5.
I miss arguing what was better, Sega Genesis or Super Nintendo or PlayStation 1 and N64, because god damn it, life was simpler.
It really wasn't. People were just younger.
That's my thing, is that we shouldn't have arguments, period.
No.
You know,
well,
like who cares? PC people shouldn't be trashing on the freaking systems. Systems shouldn't be trashing on the PC, and the systems shouldn't be fighting with each other. You know, why does a person who is going to purchase a PlayStation care if a game doesn't come to Xbox or not?
There's no point in it.
Cares?
You shouldn't care.
Yeah. So
the only thing people should worry about is, hey, I really want to play this game, or hey, I really want to play this character in a video game, but I can't because I bought an Xbox. And then they say, well, you should have bought a PlayStation. Well, no. That's companies,
what the Super Nintendo and Genesis arguments were. They were all centered around the games that came to them. I mean, there was some technical conversation, but very little. It was mostly Mario versus Sonic.
And that's what I miss. That was an easier conversation to have than...
my thing is, we have went past all this. We have went past all of this. We have grown as a company, or as a community, to where we don't have to worry about this stuff.
No,
but
we don't.
People still do, and still throw this crap at each other, and it's dumb.
That was my point.
Fucking stop.
We don't need to yell at each other. It's stupid.
Yeah, this is completely stupid. Like, I hate the fact that people on Xbox can't play as freaking Spider-Man in Marvel Avengers. I hate it. It's crap. And it's not because I'm an Xbox fan. No, it's because you're limiting and you're ruining somebody else's experience. And it's stupid. Like, if it was up to me, Horizon Zero Dawn could be played on freaking Xbox. Gears whatever could be played on PlayStation. It's dumb. It's dumb. All it is a greedy-ass company trying to make as much money as they can, and you idiots who are giving them money are arguing for them. Are you out of your minds? It's stupid.
Yes, it is. If I had infinite money, I'd buy a $1,400 GTX card, a PlayStation 5, and an Xbox Series X.
Exactly.
Yeah, but if you had infinite money, you wouldn't be arguing with people about it. Like, that's the reason the arguments show up, is because people can only afford one, and so then they get it in their head that the one they can afford has to be the best one.
I mean, sometimes that's true, but then sometimes you get those people who are like, well, I'm only going to buy this one, and then, they spend an absurd amount of money on shit that they don't need. But they won't play Xbox because God forbid I play anything on that console.
I'd be paying people to fight each other. Slap them and tell them PlayStation is better.
I got a dude dressed up as an Xbox and a dude dressed up as a video card. And they're gonna fight each other. That's what I'm spending my infinite money on.
Yeah. Fight him in the parking lot. Yeah, just prove your love.
I'm so sad when I see a tweet from somebody and I click on it and I see the comments below and it makes me sad. Like, I used to be embarrassed to say I was a gamer because people looked at it as a like not a legitimate hobby. Now I'm embarrassed to say I'm a gamer because of the fucking people who play video games.
Oh yeah, that's why I've always been embarrassed.
Because you associate with the idiots on the internet.
Yeah, like people are like, "Oh, are you like those guys?" They're like, "Ooh, Xbox, ooh, PlayStation, I'm gonna punch you in the titty or something." I don't know. Stupid.
I really don't care what Crazy Killer 4X420 has to say about Xbox or PlayStation.
I mean, PlayStation's where the gamers game.
Yeah. That's true. Final Fantasy
reminds
is a
me the old
traitor.
WCW tagline was where the big boys play.
Yeah, where the big boys play. It's a real console. You're not a real gamer unless you play on the PlayStation. I don't know if you knew that. You're not a real gamer unless you have a $1,400 video card. I don't know if you knew that. You playing Fortnite on your phone? You're not a gamer. You're not a gamer.
You're not a real gamer unless you slept next to your Xbox and made sweet love to it. Fucking
Damn, I've been a
weirdos.
gamer since 2000. Oh yeah.
Fucking creeps. I really hate most of the people that comment on video games online. You know, like most of our listeners are good, so I'm fine, but just good lord, some people, I'm like, oh, really? You're having this useless conversation? And it's like, I get it. We have these conversations on the show because, you know, like someone brings it up, and what am I gonna do? Leave just dead air and let the person hang? That seems kind of cruel. But it's just like, seriously, like fucking, I don't get it. Like, hey, both of you don't have prices for your consoles yet, so why don't you wait and see before you start fucking arguing on what's the better deal?
I don't care what the better
Because-
deal is. They're both going to be about the same price. So
That's just
whatever.
it. I mean, reality is they're going to be around the same price, but even if they aren't, like, you know, like, okay, we still don't have fucking prices right now, so it doesn't really fucking matter, does it? What's
The
better or what's
universe-
worse?
The universe pissed at me anyway. They keep throwing $500 to $1,000 charges at me.
And-
Every time I save up enough to buy one of these consoles, I get another bill.
And anybody that says, well, why don't you just build a PC, has never had to help someone with technical issues, so I suggest shutting the fuck up. Because I had an old man once come in. Now, to be fair, old to the point where he wouldn't be playing video games, but definitely on the level of intelligence that some people are at, regardless of age. He came in and argued that his smaller television was louder than his bigger television, which may have been true, sure. But his example of it was, and by the way, he wasn't showing me the televisions, he was just telling me and getting angry with me. I sold him neither television, by the way. He said, why is my smaller one louder than my bigger one? My smaller one goes to 60 and my larger television goes to 30. And I had to explain to him that those are just numerical values dictating full volume, and he still didn't fucking get it. So imagine trying to take that person who was suddenly interested in video games and having them build a PC. Think that's pretty fucking impossible, don't you? Fucking don't tell people just to buy a PC. Maybe they should just get a box that they plug in and then they never have to touch the inside of it. It'll just be a disaster. And that's why consoles exist, for fuck's sakes. There.
Yeah, let's do some emails.
Oh, fucking
And this is a
everybody.
fired up show today, man.
Just
I gotta
never
tell you,
done
on
text message.
Sunday
People-
in September, people are angry.
We're tired of being at home, Ryan.
Yeah, well, I gotta go into work every day, so
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Me
no,
too.
You're the only one.
Hey.
You're the
I'm
only
the
one,
only
Ken. Yeah.
I am the only one, and I will
Although
tell you
your
that
house is under constant construction. So.
my house is literally just constant construction over the
The
last 6
heavens
months.
falling in on Ken, so
It's someone else's workplace.
I don't know if any of y'all have ever had your roof replaced, but last Monday I had my roof replaced, and holy shit.
Ugh.
That is some loud motherfucking shit.
Well, did it go up to 60 or 30? I just need the numerical.
My roof now has 12.5 teraflops, I'm just going to tell you.
Oh, man.
You don't
Some
understand
next-gen
that.
upgrades. Jesus.
There is a universal volume meter, man.
universal volume meter.
Yeah, they're called
Yes.
decibels. And
The
if you-
UVM.
Sounds dirty.
The UVM on this television doesn't match the UVM on my old television.
It was literally the Spinal Tap moment. Isn't your 11 just equal to everybody's 10? Yeah, but mine goes up to 11. And I almost wanted to kill myself right there just because I couldn't believe this was fucking happening in real life.
This is an interesting show because we have an email from Eeyore Kara.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. It's all just chaos.
I mean, I'll probably have to say the word boobies at least 4 times. I want you to
Okay.
count. All right. Hey, yo, it's Eeyore Kara. Boys, that Nintendo Direct was amazing, and yes, I'm buying everything. I love Mario. I love my Switch. The only thing missing is GTA 5. What do you think the chances of that ever happening? 0. The game's never coming to... It's never coming to Switch. I'm in a bit of a situation, boys. Just like Drew, I'm a Sony fanboy. Wait a minute, what? Drew,
I
when
am
did
Drew's
such
a
a Sony
Sony.
fanboy. I'm getting a Series X.
Drew,
Drew's a
what
pony.
happened? And just like John, I love boobies. Ready? Keep counting. Haha, okay, I'll be serious. Yes, I'm a Sony fanboy. It's the ecosystem all my mates have, and it's also the one I've invested the most games in. I mean, I own quite a few hundred games. But going into next gen, Microsoft's Game Pass is just so hard to pass by. It literally is an amazing service. I really don't know what to do. I will only be buying one machine. What actually might make me buy my first ever Microsoft system? Game Pass for sure, and having their game Minecraft. Minecraft for me is life, and it looks like it will be best suited for Microsoft's machine. I've had too many issues with Minecraft on the PS4, still waiting for servers to be added, which is super annoying as my hardcore survival world is on that machine. I don't know, girl, looks like I'll be buying my first ever Microsoft machine, but damn, Sony has the better first party. I guess maybe I should wait, see if Minecraft on PS5 is any good compared to the other versions, I guess. Anyhow, I'm going to watch boob sucking videos. That makes me happy. Oh, by the way, John, you need a new PC. Games don't work on it, man. Either that or you're watching too much porn, bro. Take care.
Only 2.
Wow, I thought there'd be more. That's low.
Yeah. Well, I would say for Irokara, I just like had a tongue twister moment. Irokara. Did I pronounce that right?
Eeyore Kara.
Okay, fuck it. I'm not going to be able to say it properly. I can't. I've tried. It won't come out. Series S would be from the sounds of it, what would fit your needs. Because if it can play everything the Series X can, and it's cheaper, which it should be, by all accounts.
Yeah, I
That's
forgot
where
to
I
mention
would.
this.
That's where I say, like, you would be better off waiting and getting this console you want first, which sounds like Sony, and then waiting and getting a Series S at an affordable price. Because if all you're going to play is Minecraft, like, sure, you will get a better experience, I'm sure, on Series X, but Series S will allow you to have all the access to the Game Pass stuff still, and it'll have Minecraft, which you're never going to get the same upgrades on Sony. They've kind of made it clear. So
I forgot to mention that I downloaded the Minecraft beta this weekend, or PC, with ray tracing. Because I didn't realize I had a ray tracing video card in my PC.
yeah, that's a nice looking game, eh?
With ray tracing on? Holy shit, I can't wait for next gen. Holy cow. That stuff is cool, man.
But that would be my best suggestion, because it sounds like you're just like, because like not everything that comes to Game Pass is something you're gonna want to play.
No,
so like
for sure
it doesn't.
not.
That can't be the only reason why. Like it makes sense for most people on this podcast to get a Series X first because we have the back catalog of games on this on Xbox, so that'll carry over. And if you don't have that, then there isn't as much for you there. Sure, you can buy those games, but you know what I mean? Like it's not built in. So that would be my suggestion is like maybe wait until they come out and then decide.
It's crazy, but buying Series X, it'll be the first console that I buy where literally when I buy it, I will have 2,000 games that work on it. And I said console, not PC, y'all, before you freak the fuck out. Yes. I have 2,000 games that'll work on Series X the day I buy it. 2,000.
You know, I'm going to revert to a previous conversation because I want to correct myself to some extent. I was wrong, Ryan. I think I'm more disappointed with Nintendo for not having, and it's impossible with the Switch, so I get it, not having backwards compatibility. Like they did with the Wii to GameCube, cool. And then they did with the Wii to Wii U, which should have been probably back to GameCube as well. And it's like, I know that they've switched consoles and the cartridge format and stuff. But it's stuff like that where it's like, you know, sometimes they're really supportive and sometimes they're not. And it'd be one thing if I could still play those old games on a current console, then we'd have a different conversation. Even if it was just a disc reader that you plugged into the Switch base or something. You know what I mean? Like, I know it sounds dumb and I'm not saying it would be the best idea, but like something basic like that would change the world for them because they do have this huge loved catalog. There, that's all I have to say for it. I'm sometimes disappointed with how they support that type of stuff.
I think you can fit the entire NES, Super NES, and N64 library on a CD-ROM.
That sounds about right. You know, yeah. But I mean, PlayStation discs aren't supported on PS4, so what the fuck do I know?
I mean, you can't even play PS1 games.
That's what I'm talking about, yeah.
It's fucking crazy to me. Like, you can play PS1 games on anything. How can you not play that? Okay, I saw the best tweet the other day. It said the Dreamcast had better PS1 support than the PS4.
It's true. And there's that pregnancy monitor that they've got Doom running on. Technically, could be soon that it also runs PlayStation 1 games.
We playing Tony Hawk's Pro Skater for the PS1 on a pregnancy test.
Yeah, please pee on this. I need to ollie.
No, don't pee on it. Doom stops running. All right, next email comes from Antonio. He says, I'm really enjoying the Avengers campaign. I know the game sucks in some areas, but just like with many other games, it'll probably be a much better product months after release, which is unfortunate, an unfortunate trend for early adopters. It's crazy how Nintendo announced the date and price for something 2 weeks before it releases. Good thing we won't have to worry about that from Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
I want to end this email on a more serious note. Things have not gone well, and I could use some uplifting. For those of you who follow any sort of religion, I ask that you say a quick prayer for the release of these console prices. I also ask that you say another prayer for the return of the nacho fries from Taco Bell. I have been without either for too long, and I can only handle so much pain. Not to get into a Taco Bell conversation. What's that?
I mean, it wouldn't be a week of this podcast without us getting into a Taco Bell conversation.
I feel like we skipped it a couple.
I had Taco Bell last night.
And you're not. He's currently on the toilet as he does the podcast.
So I don't know if y'all saw this, but Taco Bell's changing their menu. Like they're getting rid of a bunch of stuff.
That would require entering a Taco Bell, which I haven't done in over 2 decades.
They're going to make 6 new items that all use the same 3 ingredients as all the other stuff on their menu.
Ugh.
So they got rid of potatoes entirely.
Yeah.
I saw that, and then the other big one, the one that's causing the fuss, is they're getting rid of the Mexican pizza.
No!
Yes.
That's the best thing they have there.
That's why everybody's upset about it.
What is that?
It's delicious, is what it is.
Okay, that's not descriptive.
Think of a pizza and then make it a Mexican food.
I mean, it's right there in the name, Anthony.
This is Well, I'm just gonna look it up because you two are useless. All right.
It's like a kind of like a tostada crust with refried beans and meat in the middle, and then cheese and tomatoes on the top.
Yeah, a Mexican pizza. That's exactly what I pictured. But yeah, it's going away, so I can't get my cheesy
Oh
potatoes
wow,
anymore.
that is. So it's meat, 2 tortillas of meat, and then like stuff on top. Got it.
And I agree.
Yeah, I can
the
see how
nacho,
people like that.
the
It's
nacho fries,
excellent.
the nacho fries only coming regularly caused my wife to learn the recipe, and now me and my son get to have nacho fries whenever we want. She actually went out and got the spices and made nacho fries.
Wow.
And she got a big thing of like nacho cheese so you can dip them in. So like last week she made me, because my son won't eat a cheeseburger because I raised him wrong. She made me a cheeseburger with nacho fries. Oh, it was so good.
Sounds pretty good. Y'all
Yeah,
making
so-
me want Taco Bell now, which almost never happens.
I had, like I said, I had 3 Dorito tacos last night. I'm gonna tell you, they were delicious. Taco Bell is the only fast food restaurant that I can go eat at that is never like atrocious.
You know what?
Because it's such a low bar.
Yeah,
They
but it
have
always
to
tastes
meet.
good.
I tell you what, by my work, I have lucked in. This is crazy because it almost never happens. I have lucked in to the world's best Arby's, where the meat is always the perfect thinness. Like it's always perfect.
My
And
favorite.
the world's best Rallies / Checkers.
I wish there was
What-
a Rally's close enough for me to actually go eat at. Like that's my problem. I have to drive 20 minutes to get Rally's.
What the fuck is
Yeah, there's a Rallies not too far from us. It's also called Checkers in other places, but
Yeah, I mean, it's just
There's
a
one
fast
not
food.
too
Oh,
far
okay.
from
It's
us.
literally the most basic of fast foods: hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries.
oh,
and
it's not
milkshakes.
basic. The French
You know what I
fries
mean, though.
are-
You know what I mean, though. You know what I meant. Like, if you picture fast food, you're picturing hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries.
But look at their
No-
fries. Look at their fries.
I'm
Though.
sure they're amazing. I don't
They're
have any
different.
nearby.
They're different kind of fries. They're seasoned and they're delicious.
They
It's
are.
nothing.
I love a good Rally's burger, and like I said, I have to drive at least 20 to 25 minutes to the closest. The closest one to me is the one past the Dayton Mall, like down
Yeah, that's
that
the
road.
one. That's the one that I go to. It's excellent.
Yeah,
That's the
that
best
one is
Rallies around here.
that one is where I have to go, and from my house, that is a 25-minute drive. So I very rarely eat there. I love my favorite Arby's is when the beef is so thin it's like almost shredded and it just
Yep,
falls
that-
apart.
Yep, that's the way this one up. Also, so down the road from there, closer to a different part of town, that Arby's is always the beef is always perfect.
God, the one near me, sometimes it's like the beef is so thick there's like 4 slices of it on the sandwich.
Yep,
I
That's
don't
the
like
worst.
that at all. I don't like that
Nope.
at all.
like biting
Yeah.
into a rubber glove.
Yeah, it's just, it tastes awful. I love, like when you get the shredded one and like, it's always a game you play when you go to Arby's and you open the sandwich container and you're like, is it a good one or is it a bad one? When you see it shredded, you're like, oh yeah.
Arby's, I think, has the biggest discrepancy between when it's good, it's really good. But if it is a hair off of really good, it sucks.
Yep.
My favorite, one of my favorite accounts to ever follow on Twitter is Nihilist Arby's, where it's just dark things that are happening in this fake Arby's restaurant.
But the real Arby's is actually a pretty good follow if you're a gamer because they do
They do
the
all
gamer
little art.
like pictures all the time.
Yeah.
They use like the Arby sauce in the containers.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Funnily enough,
They have some
it's
pretty
the-
deep pulls on there too. Like they don't just stick to the mainstream Call of Duty stuff. Like they have some pretty deep pulls on there.
Funnily enough, the closest restaurant to me is an Arby's. Like in terms of big chains, I can walk to an Arby's. It's
I
like,
thought you meant in terms of personality.
well, that's true.
Where's beef?
I'm shredded beef. Yeah. It's like maybe a 10-minute walk.
That's
So
not
it's like
hateful. That's like a 2-minute drive.
Yep, exactly.
That's excellent.
The closest
I've
the only
never
2-minute drive
been.
I have is goddamn McDonald's, and I'll tell you what, I can't eat McDonald's anymore.
There's
No,
a
it's
McDonald's
so bad.
3
Yeah,
or 4
like, they're
minutes away.
It's not just me getting older and not being able to eat it. Their food quality has gone way down.
Now,
Agreed.
question: did they change the grease for the fries there too, or is it still whatever they were using before? Because like a couple of years ago, they switched to like canola oil here.
Yeah, they did here too because they don't want to use the peanut oil because of allergies and stuff.
Yeah, and that changes the taste. I know that.
Absolutely. Like McDonald's is just a bad place to eat now. Like I will literally only eat there if I have no other options or I'm just way too tired to go anywhere else.
Yeah, it's generally my only option because they're open later and they're quick enough that I can grab food before work.
Yeah, I live in such
yeah.
a small town that I have one pizza place and one fast food place, and that's it. So, all right, let's do some tweets.
Now I'm
David,
thinking
right-
about lunch.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm
Might be
hungry.
there's a chance it might be a White Castle day too. I
Oh,
like White
snap.
Castle.
Never had a White Castle. I don't even think there's any in Canada.
There's not. I had to take somebody from Canada to a White Castle because they wanted to know what it tasted like.
I feel like it's just good, not amazing. Am I right?
I
It
don't like.
depends. Sometimes they hit just perfect, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine anything tasting better than this right now. They are not good on your digestive system.
Well,
I can't
nothing
eat it.
truly is. So
Well, I can't eat it because their main ingredient is onions, and I can't eat it.
Yeah, they do
Oh,
a lot of
man.
onion stuff, and the
Is-
burgers are steamed, so they just taste
steamed
taste
hams.
different. Yeah, they're steamed hams.
They have holes in
Uh,
them. That's their gimmick. The onions and the holes.
So I almost bought because weirdly enough, they sell the frozen sliders
Yeah.
from White
Yeah.
Castle in Canada. And I almost bought them, but I was like, I don't know if those are onions on top of the buns or something else, or on top of the burgers or something else.
Yeah,
But you're saying
they
that-
have onions are their big thing.
Oh
Yeah.
fuck! I'll buy
They
those. I
load
love
stuff
onions.
down with onion, especially so the best White Castle are with the jalapeno cheese on top. That's the sweet spot right
I
there.
wish I was more of a cheese person then.
Oh
yeah,
man, I
but
love
White
cheese.
Castle by default doesn't have cheese on it, right?
No, it doesn't.
I could eat like 4 of those burgers, judging by the size of them.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're very
four
small.
comes in the meal. Like that's what a
Yeah.
meal comes
Oh,
with.
fuck!
But
I
White
need.
Castle's one of those places that sells
need
like
this.
a box of like 20 burgers.
Oh fuck!
So yeah, I just can't.
We're
I
gonna
can't eat
get
it.
flooded with people on Twitter. By the way, flooded for us means like 6 messages
Yeah.
with people on Twitter telling us how much White Castle sucks, though.
Sure, I mean, you either love it or you hate it. That's the way
That's
White
the
Castle
truth.
works.
Yep.
All right, first tweet comes from David. He says, not video game related, but any of you watch Cobra Kai on Netflix or The Boys on Amazon? Fun shows, and also like that not all the episodes of The Boys are shown at once. I feel like it gives more water cooler opportunities to enjoy the show. I watched... Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I have not watched Cobra Kai, although everybody tells me that I should. Like my brother has told me over and over again that I need to watch it. Multiple other people have told me I need to watch it, and I just
Did you
Have
like
not.
those movies as a kid?
I did, yeah.
Then you will love this show. It's the best. It is the best form of nostalgia I have ever seen in my life.
Okay.
It's amazing. It's absolutely. You've got to understand that it leans on how cheesy those movies were.
Oh yeah, they were super cheesy.
Yeah, and it leans into that hard. But it works. It's amazing. I literally binged the entire 2 seasons when it dropped on Netflix in like a week. So
Nice.
it's really good. It's really good. As far as The Boys go, I watched the first season. I liked it. I find it to be one of those shows that is just vulgar for the sake of being vulgar.
That's kind of the comics. I
I'm sure it is.
It's
I
just
never
welcome-
read them, so.
Yeah.
But I guess the new season's up. I'll watch it because I watched the first one. But like Ryan, it's not something I can watch during the day. So I have to wait till my son goes to bed before I can watch a show like that. But no, I totally I got into a conversation with somebody on Twitter the other day about wondering why nobody talked about Cobra Kai when it was on YouTube, and I'm like, well, let's be fair, you had to pay for that service, and nobody really wanted to pay for a YouTube service considering YouTube's always been free. You know what I mean?
And like, as someone that actually pays for YouTube, so I can download videos and watch them whenever, and not have ads on my mobile. So there's a feature. This is a weird one, and sorry for the sidetrack of the conversation for a second. But there's a feature that when you're in the States, like, you can minimize the screen and do other stuff on your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's not available in Canada.
You got to pay for that. It's
You got
not
to pay
free.
for that in America. Yeah.
Weirdly enough, okay, so when I'm on, that's weird, but good to know, because where I work, our internet acts as if I'm in the States, and it will allow me to do that while I'm on the Wi-Fi at work, but when I'm wandering around, it will not. So outside of work, so I paid for YouTube Premium or whatever, but like, if I bought, like, that wasn't, Cobra Kai was not offered in Canada on Premium.
Huh.
You had to pay for the episodes separately. Like, it was not equal across the board when they released it. Now, I wasn't paying for Premium at the time, but you had to buy the episodes separately. It was very poorly handled. So I'm glad that this show has another chance now that it's on Netflix. I feel like a lot more talk is happening about it now, and that people are enjoying it. That it's now that it's on Netflix, and not just kind of going, this isn't really good. Like, there was quality work put into it. I saw the first episode, so I can't really talk about the whole series. But
yeah, the whole series is good. I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that it didn't end the way that it ended. Like, I'm glad we're getting a third season, because it ends on like a lot of down notes. And I was like, I want to see how these resolve. It's weird to watch a show where you're constantly going back and forth as to who you're rooting for.
well, that's why I liked the show, is that they kind of start you off rooting for the guy the bad guy from the first movie, because like, he's the one that's like down on his luck, and I can't remember Ralph Macchio's character. I don't remember any of these.
Daniel LaRusso.
Daniel LaRusso.
Yeah. He's this smug prick still living off of his fame or whatever, and running a good car dealership and stuff. And it's just like, it's so weird, but it's well done, and it feels like an 80s movie, sort of like the natural progression of things. So
Yeah, and it continues that through the first two seasons of, like, one episode you're rooting for Johnny, the next episode you're rooting against Johnny, and you're like, God damn it, which one do I root for?
and then they brought back the fucking instructor.
Yeah, he
I
appears
remember-
at the end of season 1, yeah.
I never saw the episode, but I saw what he looked like, because I'm like, he's got to be looking like shit. No, he looks intimidating still.
Yeah, they literally pull on every single piece of nostalgia, and it's funny when you watch the show, because like when they introduce characters, you probably don't remember the actor that played them, and they actually got them, so they'll do like a flashback to the movie and show you that character.
Yeah.
It's good. I recommend you watch it. It's really good. Real Shogun beats this, so I pulled the trigger and got Avengers. It's fun so far, but why do I have such buyer's remorse? It must be all the fear-mongering clickbait YouTubers I keep seeing. Also, is there a way to zoom the camera out? I'm a fan and all, but I don't want to be up Kamala Khan's butt. Yes, this is actually an issue. The camera, when you're walking around, is very poor. There is an option to pull the camera out further during combat, and I suggest you turn that on. I wish they would allow that camera pull out during like the non-combat sequences, because it is way too close. So, and I
wouldn't
get
feel-
it.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I wouldn't feel bad about your purchase. You bought it because you probably like the characters, and from the sounds of it, they don't do anybody poorly, from what I've
No.
heard so far.
I
So
mean,
don't
the
feel
game is
bad about
fine.
your purchase. Just, if you're feeling that way, don't give it any more money. That would be the only piece of advice I can give, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
not going to
not.
make you feel better about the purchase if you pour more money into it.
I
So-
think the game is fine. I don't think it's exceptional in any one area. And I think as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. He also tweets saying the RTX 3080 looks great. Tony the Tiger's voice. I wonder, to get the true value, will we have to upgrade our motherboards, a power supply? Yeah, Sony,
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Probably processor at least.
Yeah, most likely. Sony, Microsoft needs to just tell us the price. Look at how much excitement Nvidia got just by showing proof of concept. Crazy. I think everybody's just tired of this cat and mouse game. Just fucking announce these prices.
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous at this point.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I know that they can literally wait till the last minute. It won't make a difference. But it's getting really... it's gotten to the point where every time somebody's like, hey, there's a new event this week, I'm like, I don't care.
Right. Are you going to show me the price? If not,
Yeah,
I don't care.
What was the one this week where it was like Microsoft is opening TGS?
Yeah, which is-
TGS.
We're not going to announce anything about our new console. This is just a focus
Yeah.
on. Excuse me.
Yeah, don't
What the
expect
fuck?
us to say
Don't
anything about our
waste my-
console that comes out in 2 months.
Don't
It's a-
waste my time, bitch. Get the fucking.
It's also the
price.
opening sequence, and it's 50 minutes long.
Yeah, I mean, you got to try not to talk about your new console that comes out in 2 months for 50 minutes.
So, again, why are we getting new consoles? If you're not going to talk about it, because that means clearly you have enough to talk about outside of the new console, then why the fuck are we getting a new console?
Yeah, even Sony's last video was like a lot of PS4 stuff. I'm like, why are we talking about this in August?
Yeah,
When you got a console coming out in November.
the thing that's frustrating to me is I would like to know how much everything's going to cost because I want to get Assassin's Creed and Cyberpunk, and I don't really want to play them cross-generation.
Good news for you, though. Cyberpunk's going to be the regular $59 from the sounds of it.
Yeah, no, I know, but if you buy Assassin's Creed, you still get it on the next-gen console, but I don't want to play them cross-generation. I just want to play them on the new console.
Well, so here's another question, and Microsoft's already said that this works this way, but if you start Assassin's Creed on the PS4, how is that save situation? Do you have
I don't
to
know
have
that it
Plus?
transfers over.
Yeah, on Xbox it just does. That's
I don't know.
another thing is Sony has not talked anything about the operating system. They have not talked about how stuff transfers. If I buy Madden now and when I get the upgrade for PS5, does my seasons come over? This is all things they need to be talking about, and we're literally 2 months from launch. I mean, it's crazy to me.
It's crazy for sure.
Microsoft's literally the only thing we don't know about Microsoft is the price. We know the old games work, we know the save files work. It's the same dashboard, so nothing changes there. We just need the price of the Series X. Well, how's all this shit work on PS5? When are they going to do an event for it?
I don't know.
So anyway, last tweet comes from Curtis. Says, "Hope everyone's doing all right. Do you guys think Nintendo is the most anti-consumer video game company out there? Mario Brothers 35th, anyone? And why is Microsoft so silent about the Series X?"
I think he meant Series S. They've been pretty open about the Series X other than price.
Yeah, it's
Series
funny
S
that
that's not.
they haven't even announced it, but we know it's real because it's in the goddamn instruction manual. It's in the freaking codes.
The codes. No idea. I have a feeling. Because they want to push their higher end hardware.
Well, I think
first
it was
and
already
foremost.
supposed to be announced by now. That was
Sure.
the plan. That was the plan, was to have it announced by now. But since Microsoft is legitimately waiting on Sony to announce price.
Yeah, and I think that'll probably be when they go, Series S will be this price. I'll be able to play all the games. All right, sure.
Yeah.
And here's where I defend Nintendo. Nintendo is not anti-consumer. Nintendo's the one that fought DLC for a long time. They would only put out games, their games generally aren't coming out buggy as hell. Let's be honest, they're because they are not just a console manufacturer. They make games as well, and they publish them, and their games don't come out janky messes. And
Their pay-to-play online is dramatically cheaper than anybody else's pay-to-play online as well.
Yeah, they they usually, if it's one of their games that's not mobile, they have a spend cap. So eventually you just own everything in the game. The idea that this is anti-consumer with I'm assuming we're referring to the 35th anniversary, the 3D All-Stars and the Super Mario Brothers 35. 35 will eventually die out. Let's be honest. I understand why that's only around for a couple times. Like they released the Zelda Four Swords on 3DS and DSi, I think, for a while, and then they've taken that back, and that's not been available since. Not pleasant, but at the same time, like, you put it out for a short period of time, people will play it together if it's online, but it may not have the same holding power as Tetris. So they may decide to extend that. The sales of a video game, however, when they know that Mario sells, hence why they keep it full price forever, doesn't make sense to me. Not fully anyways. I can understand, again, doing limited physical, sure. But, I can't understand why they wouldn't just keep selling it digitally. But anti-consumer is too far of a statement. I think people confuse the idea of playing safe with stuff and as anti-consumer. Like, I worked when the Amiibos got launched. Let me tell you right now, not one Amiibo was held back because of, we need to make these ones more expensive. Horseshit. They would love to sell you more Amiibos. But of course, they didn't think Wii Fit Trainer was going to be as popular as Mario or Link or as Pikachu. So they only had, when I got boxes in, they'd only have 3 in a box, because why the fuck would Wii Fit Trainer ever be as big of a character? They did the same with all their Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem, it was at the time very niche. It's become a more popular franchise, but I got 6 copies of Fire Emblem Awakening in, and it took forever to sell out of those 6 copies. But I sold out, and guess what I started getting phone calls for? Fire Emblem Awakening. And sure enough, we ended up getting a full case in later, but people were asking about it. It was a slow roll to get to where Fire Emblem was the thing that everybody wanted to play, but they do play it safe with certain things, so I understand why they only make certain amounts. It's a little weird with Mario, but it's the unwillingness to put that out that sucks, but that's still not anti-consumer. That's just making sure they know the value.
They know the value of their franchises and their characters, and they also know what their fans will pay for those. Yeah. And you could make a case that that's anti-consumer, but I think generally all 3 have various policies that are pro-consumer, and all 3 have policies that are anti-consumer. I don't think any one of them is necessarily completely pro or completely anti-consumer. For sure, in that regard.
I'd argue, though, that Nintendo overall has tried to be the most consumer friendly. And it's because of, they were giving you free stuff forever with Club Nintendo. And then they decided to get rid of that. They now offer discounts. Now they offer bigger discounts on Switch if you just buy products from them. That's not a thing you get with PlayStation. That's not a thing you get with Microsoft. Although Microsoft does do the Game Pass thing, but then they reduce the amount. There are things that they do. The biggest proof that Nintendo doesn't purposely release things in small amounts to somehow up the value on the secondary market, which, by the way, they don't make any money off of. You stupid idiots. Not saying Curtis is the one, but just everybody that fucking agrees with that idea. They're not helping scalpers. That's stupid. Look at the Animal Crossing amiibos that they put out that sat in store shelves and literally removed the amiibo sections from stores because Walmart and the like were like, we're not carrying this shit anymore. It's sitting on shelves. We can't sell this stuff. We've discounted it to $2 a piece, and they're still sitting here because nobody wanted the Animal Crossing amiibos because they put it out with a game that sucked, the Amiibo Festival on the Wii U. So, they overestimated became based on the fact that amiibos were selling, and now you don't nearly see as many amiibos on store shelves. Because they overestimated, because everything told them, based on people complaining about there not being enough amiibos, and then the sales of amiibos on the secondary market, that they would assume, like, well, our people love Animal Crossing, they're going to love Animal Crossing amiibos. But guess what? Now they have Animal Crossing amiibos again because the new game is selling well, but they haven't flooded the store shelves with them. Like, Nintendo's very smart about putting stuff out, and they have a lot of blunders that people don't remember. Does anybody remember Glory of Heracles? Heracles?
No.
Exactly. It was a DS game. Apparently, it's a decent selling series in Japan. They tried to bring it over on the DS, and it didn't sell. It sat on store shelves for fucking ever. Not a single person bought it. I had all 12 that I had of the original when I worked at Sellers sitting on the store shelves until we closed. We had to clearance them out for next to nothing.
Well,
Not anti-consumer. That was it's just they play it safe.
Well, that's all the tweets for this week. If you want to tweet at us, at N4G Podcast. If you want to shoot us an email, it's podcasts@ztgd.com. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I am at ZTGD. Ryan is at WombatRP. Phoenix Down's going on, God of War. They did not have an episode this week, but they should be back next week. Drew is gone. He left like an hour ago.
He had some stuff.
Some stuff show up, so he is not here. You can follow him on Twitter at Drew Lee.
He had an uncomfortable ball itch he had to handle.
Oh, stop making up lies. But that's it
You
for
should
this
just
week.
let that one hang again. God damn it.
Just like his balls.
It's good.
Anyway, the question is, will we make it another 7 days without console prices? Most likely.
Yeah.
So
The world may never know.
the world may never know, like you said. Announcing November 1st, console prices. It's coming. You'll know how much money you need a week before you need it.
Yeah.
What if they started a countdown clock that just, instead of actual time, it just slowly dropped the price to the price that it's going to sell at? Or it raised, and as it got further and further, you'd be like, oh god, when is this going to stop?
We didn't mention that apparently there's a Taco Bell promotion happening for Series X to win one, and it starts on September 23rd.
Yeah, get your cross-promotion with our conversation about Taco Bell earlier, everyone.
I know, right? How did we
Taco
miss
Bell's
that?
always wrapped in with the consoles, man.
Yeah, Taco Bell's given away an Xbox the last 3 generations, so it's not shocking.
We also didn't mention Realms Deep that's happening right now.
Yeah, which the only game that came out of it so far that I looked at was Graven. So
Yeah,
I also didn't talk about the Turtle Beach headset. I can't fit everything into one episode. It's crazy, man.
I mean, you can if we didn't talk so much about rallies and Arby's and White Castle and Taco
Then
Bell.
it wouldn't be a show.
Then no one's giving a shit.
Yeah, I mean
It would
that's
be
what
our
people,
show at least.
That's
Yeah,
why
that's what
people come.
for. Fucking right. Anyway, that's it for the show. Unless anybody has anything else other than the stuff we didn't talk about, we'll talk about that. Probably never, because it's be forgotten by next week. But other than that, I'm gonna get out of here. So peace, brush, fuck off.
Alrighty. And it goes something like this.
Epic fail. Welcome to the N4G Podcast. Oh, you can...
It's me, Mario.
Zero tolerance.
This is gonna be a very interesting episode.
Gather time.
Greetings, programs. I got lost trying to find my way to the secret underground N4G Radio lair.
The Wombat. And
always live being angry.
Killer Wolverine. Play games, not fanboys allowed.
And then I killed the dragon. 8.0.
Killed the dragon.